Uf, madre mía, esto es, como bien ha dicho ahí, desproporcionado, ¿eh? Desproporcionado. Vale, sigue siendo igual. A ver aquí. Hombre, por lo menos cocina. La cocina. Madre mía, esto es enorme, muchacho. A ver quién es este ser humano.
Good morning. Let me introduce myself, Inspector Jack Norm. I'm here to conduct the investigation on the death of Mr. Jones.
Inspector Norm. Very good. Very good.
Abruzzi.
I am Martin Abruzzi, the husband of Sonia Jones, the granddaughter of the deceased.
Bien, 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 bien. Tenemos mucho que preguntarle. Carta de Walter Jones. Dossier asunto Walter Jones. Menú del restaurante. ¿Quién estaba en el mirador anoche? ¿Qué causó la muerte de Walter Jones?
Do you know anything about medicine?
Of course not.
Too bad. I really need some medical advice. Well, I will wait for the coroner's report.
Vale.
Did you see anyone at the Tortoise Belvedere last evening, or did anything at all catch your attention?
I'm afraid I won't be very useful to you, Inspector. I had dinner with the guests and with Mr. Jones. I stayed for a bit after the old man had left for his evening walk. It must have been around 10 p.m. Then I went back to my apartment. Well, the suite that was reserved for Sonia and me. It was around 10:30 p.m. I wanted to finish reading a manuscript. I'm a publisher, as you certainly must already know. So I read and then I slept. I confess I was pretty exhausted by the trip.
La verdad es que la cara es horrible, ¿eh? La del tío. Es una cara como si le hubieran puesto una cara ahí pegada. Y el cuerpo que no le pega ni con, vamos, ni con cola. Vale, esto lo tenemos.
I would love it if you could tell me a little about Sonia.
Bien.
I'm badly placed to answer you with any objectivity, Inspector. Sonia is my wife. Sonia is the woman I love. Sonia is the woman of my life. She is irreplaceable for me.
Bien.
What do you think of the attorney, Hubert de Noland?
I cannot comment on Mr. de Noland for the simple reason that I do not know him, Inspector.
No hace falta ser tan grosero.
What do you know about Lorenzo Battaglieri?
Delicate question, Inspector. I take Lorenzo to be a whimsical creature, somewhat unreliable, and is commonly considered to be an incompetent to boot.
Muy interesante que opinen de esa forma. Porque Lorenzo estaba detrás de esta, también.
What do you think of Baina?
Baina? The untamed young girl? What can I say? I have the impression that maybe she isn't entirely a stranger to Walter Jones's
Eso es lo más
death.
fácil, ¿eh?
Why would Baina have something to do with Walter Jones's death?
I know the old man ran after her a little. That surely couldn't have been to her taste.
What do you think of Colio?
I didn't have the chance to spend much time with Colio, Inspector. I don't really know him.
Vale, pues ya tenemos esto y esto, declaraciones. Lorenzo habla sobre el accidente que volvió muda.
I'm told that an accident left Baina mute. What is that about?
I don't know anything. My wife spoke to me about it. I know that Jones and Baina had a fall together that could have been fatal, but I don't know anything more.
Vale, pues entonces ya nos quedan solamente los documentos. Carta, vamos a empezar por...
What can you tell me regarding the death of Walter Jones?
Va a decir por
Mr. de Noland had us all come together in the restaurant to give us the tragic news. It was a terrible shock for us, as you might suspect. Outside, the storm was raging. Abominable weather. It would have been madness to go out and risk our lives. Because in truth, we couldn't have brought poor Mr. Jones back to life.
Seguramente. Menú del restaurante, folleto
This
turístico.
tower on this wild island, far from everything. Isn't it madness?
If I had been in charge of promoting this hotel, I would definitely have chosen a sales brochure that was less flashy, Inspector. It is pretentious and ridiculous. It's brash to tell you what I really think, but it seems to work on you, Inspector.
This menu seems utterly appetizing. Tell me, what are we eating today?
I admit I'm not a lover of this kind of sophisticated cuisine, Inspector.
¿Por qué me preguntas? Y aún sigue lo del juicio.
What luxury. For some, the world is all roses. But where did the staff go?
Qué interesante.
I don't see them.
I don't know, and to tell you the truth, I don't care. And what's more, Mr. Jones was extremely rich. He did whatever he fancied with his money after all.
Bueno, tampoco hace falta que te pongas así. Nos damos cuenta de que de un mismo objeto, de una misma declaración, de un mismo mandato, se pueden hacer varias conversaciones. Así que...
Where were you and what were you doing last night?
I spent the evening at the restaurant with my wife Sonia and the other guests until the departure of Mr. Jones. I returned to my suite at around 10:30 p.m. to read a manuscript, and I soon went to bed. It was Sonia who woke me up to tell me about the tragedy that had taken place.
What was your relationship with Walter Jones?
I certainly won't try to play any games with you, Inspector. And I won't surprise you if I tell you that I didn't have much affection for this man. He was the grandfather of my wife, full stop. That's it. A grandfather who was not particularly likable. He didn't behave very well with Sonia and me, and I have not forgotten. Therefore, his death truly doesn't affect me.
Vamos, está siendo muy sincero.
Who is the rightful owner of this piece of chain?
I confess I haven't the foggiest idea.
A ver, yo estoy convencido de que eso es de Vaina.
I'm surprised that Colio, even if he was angry at Jones, was not more grateful for his generosity.
I don't know anything about this, Inspector.
What do these gifts from Jones hide? Why did he want to assure the future of Colio and his daughter?
I was unaware of all of this.
Okay.
Se quería quedar con... Vale. Con Vaina. Es este, ¿no? Marido de Sonia. Martin no apreciaba a Walter Jones. Martin dice que pasó la noche en el restaurante... Perdonad, si no me estáis escuchando bien, que había subido el micrófono. Estaba diciendo que Martin no apreciaba a Walter Jones. Y Martin dice que pasó la noche en el restaurante con los invitados y después volvió a su suite bastante temprano para acostarse y leer un manuscrito. Os he comentado antes una cosita, lo mismo no me habéis escuchado porque el micro lo he apartado porque me estaba sonando la nariz. Sí, con el frío del moquillo pues va bajando. En fin, la cuestión es que es interesante que de un mismo objeto puedes darle varias veces y hasta que no se elimine ese objeto, no desaparezca del inventario, tienes que seguir preguntando. Ya sea una declaración, ya sea pues eso, una imagen, un objeto, una declaración, en fin. Interesante. Nadie sabe nada. Bueno, con respecto a esto es obvio que hasta que no tengamos imagen de la cara de Walter Jones. Ah, amigo. Perlas del collar de vaina. Estas perlas y estas perlas concuerdan. Y esto concuerda. O sea que esto... Ah, ahora entiendo. Las imágenes no pueden ser imágenes al azar. Tienen que ser imágenes que concuerden la imagen con luego después la fotografía que nosotros sacamos. Vale, entiendo. Vale, comparar las pistas. Entonces las imágenes que tengamos que poner aquí serán siempre imágenes que estén comparadas, no serán... Bueno, creo. El tema de las declaraciones es lo más complicado. Porque como son varias las declaraciones que realiza... Martin no presenció nada, pues se fue a la cama temprano después de jugar un rato al póker. Vale, vamos a ver aquí. Aquí hay alguien que está detrás. Bien. Algo de...
Good morning, sir. I'm Jack Norm, police inspector. I'm mandated to conduct the investigation on the death of Mr. Walter Jones.
Good morning, Mr. Inspector Jack Norm. It's funny. Your name rings a bell. Well, anyway, I'm Billy Jones. grandson and soon heir of the late Walter Jones.
Vaya tela,
Well, at
macho.
least I hope
¿Y lo
so.
dices así tan abiertamente? No sé. Empezamos con...
What can you
esto.
tell me regarding the death of Walter Jones?
I found out about the death of the old man like everyone else at around 11:30 p.m. It was Nolan, his right-hand man, who informed us. This guy risked his life to save the old miser. Unbelievable, huh?
Codio,
The
no sé
daughter
qué.
of the fisherman, Codio, whatever. She's apparently involved.
Parece que está involucrada.
Where were you and what were you doing last night?
I was absorbed in a hand of poker and I was having pretty good luck. With Sonia and Martin for partners and Nolan, the attorney of my grandfather, came to inform us of the death.
What was your relationship with Walter Jones?
Yeah, I don't really want to tell you stories about my family. What I can tell you is that I had 1,000 reasons to detest the old man. But I immediately reassure you, Norm, the death of my grandfather took me completely by surprise.
Tell me more about your reasons for hating your grandfather, please.
Eso es importante.
Principally to do with money, Inspector. I've got a fair bit of debt and my super-rich grandfather never wanted to lend me a cent. But if you want to go there, I would never kill anyone for money. Or anything else for that matter.
Parece el típico joven que se mete en cosas. Si se le da bien el póker, con eso ya lo dice todo, ¿verdad? Es posible que a lo mejor se metiera en cosas que tengan que ver con el juego, etcétera, etcétera. Da el perfil. Da el perfil. Bueno.
Do you know anything about medicine?
No. Sorry, man.
In that case, you can't help me.
Bastante cortante Jack Norm, ¿eh?
Did you see anyone at the Tortoise Belvedere last evening, or did anything at all catch your attention?
I didn't see anything of what was happening outside. I was absorbed in a hand of poker with Sonia and Martin.
Vale.
What do you think of the attorney, Hubert de Nolant?
Ha! Nolan. He's a real poet, huh? If I could earn 1/10 of what he does thanks to his shrewdness at robbing the IRS, then I can tell you I'd be rich.
Vaya.
I would like to know more about Martin.
Martin? Yeah, great guy. One shouldn't tease him too much, you know. He's rather susceptible, but otherwise okay.
Vaya.
What do you think of Baina?
Ah, Baina. That natural, young, beautiful, and mute girl who makes men's heads turn. Well, except mine, of course.
What do you know about Lorenzo Battaglieri?
Lorenzo has talent, and those who tell you otherwise are lying and probably jealous. He's my friend, and I find it disgusting that he was put aside by Nolan and my grandfather. Lorenzo was in a way their scapegoat, you know?
What do you think of Colio?
Sorry, man, I don't know him.
I would love it if you could tell me a little about Sonia.
Sonia's my sibling, dude. She's an awesome, intelligent, and generous woman, always attentive to the needs of others. In short, she's a super sister.
Vale. O sea que es la hermana y el otro es el cuñado. Es importante ese detalle.
I'm told that an accident left Baina mute. What is that about?
A dark family story, Jack. My grandfather never wanted to tell us what happened between him and Baina that day. What is sure is that both of them fell from the top of the rocks. Since then, the old man was in a wheelchair, and the island bird didn't say another word. In my opinion, it was a love story that turned bitter.
Vaya. Vale, pues entonces vamos con Parte de Walter Jones.
This tower on this wild island, far from everything. Isn't it madness?
It's all bullshit, this tower. There's not even a game room here. Not one, Inspector. Can you believe
Salón de
that?
juego, ya lo tienes tú. Ahí está, esa
What
línea.
luxury. For some, the world is all roses. But where did the staff go? I don't see them.
All I can tell you is that my grandfather was a genius at throwing money out the window, and at never letting his relatives benefit. You know, deep down, It doesn't surprise me that things happen this way.
This menu seems utterly appetizing. Tell me, what are we eating today?
I'm not a fan of this stuff, Norm. Moreover, the chef was given the boot, we're told. The old man told us to cook by ourselves.
Entonces, o sea que en el hotel realmente están las personas con las cuales hemos hablado y las cuales vamos a hablar, o sea que no hay más. Muy interesante, o sea que no vamos a encontrarnos con nadie más.
Who is the rightful owner of this piece of chain?
No tengo ni
Sorry,
idea.
but I don't know anything about this, Norm.
Vale.
I'm surprised that Colio, even if he was angry at Jones, was not more grateful for his generosity.
Well, I really have no idea, Norm. I'm not in the loop.
What do these gifts from Jones hide? Why did he want to assure the future of Colio and his daughter?
No, I have no idea.
No tengo ni idea.
Walter Jones gave this to Baina, didn't he? What were the bonds that connected them?
Listen, man, I'm not a saint and I have my faults, but I think that the old man was really
Joder.
revolting to want to fuck this girl.
I don't think you're telling me everything.
Ahí está. Ha hablado ahí. A ver. A ver, el muchacho. Este nieto de Walter Jones. Billy dice que pasó la noche jugando a las cartas en el restaurante con los invitados. Realmente entonces solamente nos falta hablar con esta novia de Marco. Novia de Marco. Y este. Y novia de Cristina. Cristina, esta es. Vale, vale. Nos faltan estos dos. ¿Y esta quién es?
Good morning, miss. I'm Jack Norm, police inspector. I'm charged with routine investigation of the death of Mr. Jones.
Good morning, Mrs. Jones, Clara Jones. I'm Billy Jones's wife. Walter Jones was his grandfather, but I didn't really know him. So I will be direct with you. I'm not really in an awful state about his
Joder, la
death.
gente odiaba al abuelo. Trozo de esclava. Bueno, vamos a
What
empezar
can you tell
con
me
esto.
regarding the death of Walter Jones?
I have Nolan's version. He said that he went to the Tortoise Belvedere where Walter Jones had fallen from the top of the cliff in his wheelchair. Now, whether it was an accident or a murder, that I can't say. I wasn't at the site, Inspector.
Where were you and what were you doing last night?
Well, I was at the restaurant throughout the evening, and I can't say anything more. It was Nolan who informed us about Walter's death.
What was your relationship with Walter Jones?
Would you be surprised if I said that our relationship was far from good? His death won't change anything. This guy hurt a lot of people. I won't cry for him.
Mira, tela. La gente habla mal de él, ¿eh?
Do you know anything about medicine?
No, Inspector.
I understand. Too bad that you can't help me. Did you see anyone at the Tortoise Belvedere last evening, or did anything at all catch your attention?
Well, I can't tell you anything. I spent the evening at the restaurant. Sonia, Martin, and Billy will confirm this.
Sí, eso parece ser que todos pueden confirmarlo unos a otros. Vale, vamos a empezar a hablar.
What do you think of the attorney, Hubert de Noland?
Hubert de Noland is a real professional, Inspector. And an attorney like him is influential. I never forget.
I would like to know more about Martin.
I like Martin. He gives the impression of being a good sort. In general, my intuition is never wrong, Inspector. But we don't know each other very well, in fact.
What do you think of Baina?
I always wondered what happened to her, the poor thing. I wanted to talk about the accident. Indeed, the Jones family is in the habit of calling it the accident. She became mute after all.
And could you tell me more about this accident?
My husband already told me about it, but he doesn't know anything precise. He only told me that Jones and Baina had an accident together.
Ha dicho lo mismo.
What do you know about Lorenzo Battiglieri?
Lorenzo Battiglieri is doubtlessly talented, Inspector, but I don't like his cynical and embittered
Amargado.
nature.
What do you think of Colio?
I don't really know this Mr. Colio, but he's always very polite with me.
Bien.
I would love it if you could tell me a little about Sonia.
Sonia is an exceptional woman, Inspector. She inherited the straightforwardness of her mother. And I'm lucky to have a sister-in-law like her, you know.
Sí que... Buena familia.
So, tell me a little about Billy.
Billy is not a solid and mature man on whom one can rely, Inspector. My life with him is not always easy, but he makes me laugh and amuses me. And he still surprises me after all these years. So, what can I say?
Vaya.
What reasons could Billy have had for hating his grandfather?
Eso es.
How can you love someone who never helped you even when he had the power? I know my Billy sometimes abuses money, but Walter Jones was really heartless. He never lifted even his little finger to get Billy out of his
Como
problems.
si estuviera obligado a hacerlo. ¿Por qué?
This tower on this wild island, far from everything. Isn't it madness?
Tell me, Inspector, are you here to have a good time or to conduct an investigation?
What luxury. For some, the world is all roses. But where did the staff go? I don't see them.
Old Man Jones threw out all his staff to force his children to handle everything. And I certainly don't like playing the maid.
Son bastante estirados, todos los que hay aquí, Muy, muy estirados. Pero interesante, ha despedido. Qué curioso, despidió al personal. Vaya.
This menu seems utterly appetizing. Tell me, what are we eating today?
I love cooking, and I do pretty well. But I'd be utterly incapable of making any of the dishes on this wretched menu.
Pues entonces algo me tendrás que dar de comer, ¿no?
Who is the rightful owner of this piece of chain?
Ni idea.
These links are really strong. It must be a man's.
¡Oh! Oye. Oye lo que acaba de decir la muchacha, Estos eslabones son muy fuertes, son de un hombre. Y yo pensando que era de vaina, que era de una mujer. Bueno, de una mujer y que era de vaina. Y fíjate por dónde. Vaya detalle más bueno.
I'm surprised that Colio, even if he was angry at Jones, was not more grateful for his generosity.
I wasn't in the know, Inspector.
I get it.
No dice nada con respecto a ella. Parece que habla sinceramente, aunque como los demás son muy estirados y asquerosillos.